Hey guys, what's up? It's TrueBro001 here, and I just took a 10-second bite out of this video. And today we are racing the Mazda Spec series, and as you can tell, I am right on time, and this video is going to be uploaded once this is gone from the game. I can't be stopped. I am just too perfect at the YouTube game. Anyways, today I'm kind of going to talk about the unbeatable strategy in this Spec series that you could no longer play. However, it could be useful in future Spec series. You never know. Some information on the Mazda Spec series. I believe it's a Mazda race car, as you can tell. Everyone drives the exact same car in the exact same setup. I do believe you have a little bit of tuning options. I did not mess with that at all. And you basically just try to be the best out of 24 players in that car. Now, this car in particular is actually super fun. I really like it. It makes for a very interesting race where everyone drives the exact same setup of the car. Because this car generally handles very, very well, but is pretty slow as far as the class is concerned. So it makes for some like pretty interesting battles around like you really just nailing the handling and then the straightaway speed being nothing crazy. What's on your screen right now is my qualifying lap. So we're going to kind of see where we end up out of 22 players. Our first lap was a P2 finish with a 2:01.03. And we're going to see how we do here. We're currently 1 second ahead, so that's not bad at all. And I'm going to go into my unbeatable strategy. So in the Mazda Spec Series race, it's a medium length race. Which generally means you're supposed to take a singular pit stop. So you can either go mediums twice or maybe a medium into a soft. And then here we get P1 with a 2-minute flat time. But it actually ends up P2 in the end of it. Whoever got first actually got a 159, I believe. And yeah, so this Forrest Gump, Mr. Forrest Gump, we're gonna have a lot to say about him later. He'll be a character. Anyways, the main strategy that I go for this race is to slap on the hard tires and play the long game. Now, you're gonna kind of see how this race starts with the hard tires on. And it's going to be hard to justify the use of hard tires after you see this, but you really got to think about the long game. With a medium race length, with these specific cars, you can actually do hard tires for a 20-minute race and never have to pit. Now, sure, your last lap is going to be pretty brutal. It's going to be a pretty brutal last lap. But being able to skip a 25-second pit it can do wonders. And as you can see, we're down into P4 already, just in the first couple of turns. Then we make a pretty big mistake right there, bumping into people. That's something I really need to work on in this game, is I feel like when I'm near people, you'll see this later too, when I'm near people, it's hard for me to not, give them a little tippy tap every once in a while. It's really hard where I'm behind somebody, then, give him a little tap to pass there. It's really hard when I'm not behind somebody, or when I'm behind somebody to not give them a little tippy tap if they're braking exceptionally early, And then that guy probably had the same problem as me, just on a much stronger level. And as you can see with the hard tires, we kind of just get pummeled around until we're in 6th from P2, and we got the Stig behind me. It is worth noting that the person who started in P1 actually started on soft tires this race, and as you can see, one of the people who bumped the shit out of me completely in the fucking gravel. Get him out of here. We're back in P6, or we stay in P6 because the Stig has passed us, presumably on medium tires. And yeah, as I was saying, the first place, the P1 starter, was on softs, which is why he's 7 seconds ahead. Or no, sorry, that's JF. This person, Forrest Gump, there, 7 seconds ahead. Forrest Gump, the P1 player, he was on softs, so he's 7 seconds ahead after the first lap, which is fairly ridiculous, but that's okay. We're currently in 6th. No one's really behind us, and we don't have a ton we need to worry about as far as people catching up to us. Now, our only goal, like I said, we're going for a no pit race, right? So we're only on hard tires. Our only goal is to maintain. We just want to stick behind the pack. We don't care about passing a ton. We just need us, if we can, as long as we can keep up with the group at the front. As you can see, 7th is now 5 seconds behind with a 3.25 second penalty, I may add. We just need to stick with this pack up here. And as long as we can stick with these guys who are more than definitely on mediums or softs, we should be able to make a push. So yeah, going into middle of lap 2 here, pushing against the Stig, really trying to get in there. It's very hard on hards. You know, I'm hard even just saying that. We are really trying to pass these guys, but when they're on mediums or softs, it just makes it exceptionally difficult to actually pass them. So all you can really pray for is race good lines and just kind of stay in the slipstream generally. And the slipstream will help kind of make up for that, where as long as you just keep up and are able to stay in the slipstreams, you should be able to somewhat keep up. As you can see, we are now 2 seconds from where we were at the end of the first lap behind first. We went from +7 to +9. And skipping ahead, someone decides to really go super wide there, as you can see, and we are kind of getting a little closer. Now we're looking at this. There could be some battling in front of us, and there may be some opportunities to pass. Let's see. Getting in a slipstream of the Stig. Buddy decided to go off a little bit there as well. Really just about racing clean lines, trying your best here. Losing a bit. The hard tires they're a curse. They really, you know, the strategy is kind of a hack in this race, but it also makes for some really annoying racing. And then, yeah, so that guy decided to go off. Oh, Forrest Gump actually decided to go off. His softs may be treating him fairly poorly now. And I kind of decided to follow suit, hitting the grass there. A little further. Just going into lap 4 here towards the start of the lap. The Stig decided to go off the track. We end up passing. And since they're obviously very much on mediums and we're on hards, there's probably going to be some battling going on here, especially when Stig has the slipstream. So we'll be trying to be playing defense for sure. As I was saying about the hard tires, though, with the hard tires, it's kind of annoying. It's annoying to race it. You know, you're kind of waiting for people just to pit and get out of your way. You can't really pass people, and if you do, as long as they're not completely brain dead, they'll just use their better grip and stay in your slipstream and be able to pass you pretty easily. So a little further into lap 4 against a Stig, he goes for a super tight inside line and breaks a little early, and we're able to keep the driving line there, block it off, and then make it to the final straight. And as you can see, 2 people have started a pit, so we're gonna go from 5th and 6th, me and the Stig, to 3 and 4. So just like that, with the hard tire strategy, as you can see, our tires are fine. Lap 5 out of 8, like our tires are doing great on the bottom right, not a ton of wear. And yeah, me and the Stig are still going. I assume the Stig is on mediums, and I believe so because I think he starts kind of losing it a little bit later on here. Yeah, we're noticeably faster than the Stig now, I think. So this is kind of the point where he may have overstayed his welcome on medium tires, and yeah, you can see people are just going wide, but we make a huge mistake there and end up taking a hit, which is going to cost us about an entire second. And it took a while to get that back up. Here we are in lap 6 now, like a lap and a bit later, and we're finally able to start catching up to these 2 who are presumably just completely overstaying their medium tires. And we do what needed to be done by being an absolute asshole and punt off the Stig and take a much deserved penalty of 2.25 seconds. This was not even remotely intentional on my part. I kind of just drove up to him, nicked his tire, and he went 90 degrees, and I kind of had to just push him to get out of the way. I was not there was no malice in me trying to do that. And then this guy's tires are completely gone. We're just going to be able to pass him on the hards. He is presumably trying to do 8 laps on mediums, which is not going to happen at all. And as you can see here, we have made it into first place. Everyone in front of us has done their pits, presumably to softs, and it's just me and STK Berserk here. And I don't think Berserk has remotely functioning tires, so we should be able to build quite a lead on him pretty quick here. With only 2 laps left in the race, now it's all about maintaining the first position and making sure we have the 2.25 second penalties for those behind us. Now the problem is, those behind us, a lot of the people up front probably switched from mediums to softs for the last 2 laps. And trying to keep pace against softs in the last 2 laps is going to be ridiculous. And as we can see, the P1 starter, Forrest Gump, is now in our vicinity. Well, I shouldn't really say in our vicinity, but he's a nice 10-second gap away. And we're going to be racing against that. And as you can see, he's now an 8.8 second gap, 8.7 second gap, 8.6, 8.5, 8.4, 8.4. So you can see how during this race, I may have been kind of sweating a bit based on how fast that time is dropping. So we were just trying to maintain good weight race lines. He is still exceptionally far behind us, but the rate at which that time is dropping is very much cause for concern. We are definitely in front though, definitely have a good gap on the competition with our no pit strategy on the hard tires. And yeah, as you can see, Crypto Legend, SDK Berserk are now 9 seconds behind us. They were well overstaying their welcome on the mediums. And now this race has turned into a single lap time trial between me and Forrest Gump, who has now dropped it from 10 seconds to 6.5 on this lap. So we have to defend and probably put down a lap time that with hards that are failing and completely done at this point. Once the back tires go here soon, we're going to be sliding all around and our time is going to suck. And we are going to be against probably fairly fresh softs. And we have to only have a gap on this lap between fresh softs and old hards by only about 4 seconds. We only need to lose about 4 seconds of time compared to the softs in order to win, or in order to lose the race. So we have to maintain that gap, and it's very important to. So at this point, you know, palms sweaty, knees weak, arms are heavy. I'm going wide. It is hard to drive this thing. As you can see, the back tires are now in the yellow slash, I guess that's orange, yellow orangish area. And I am just trying my best to keep the car on the road and take lines that make sense. He's now at a 4.2 behind us, really gaining for 3.9, 3.8. And we still have quite a bit to go on this lap, and I am just terrified that he is going to catch up here, 3.5. Now, honestly, I assume I'm not the biggest racing guy, so I'm not going to know exactly how stuff works. I assume the tires, the difference between soft, mediums, and hards mostly shows on the cornering, and I think there is kind of distinctly a little less corners on the latter half of the race. And as you can see, we are now at minus 2.4. We are basically racing at side by side figuratively for the win, because if he gets much closer, we're going to lose the race. And it's a 1.9 on the final straight, 1.8 on the final straight. Will it lower any more? It does not lower any more. And we finished with a 1641, which is good enough for the P1 by 0.2 of a second, almost exactly. 0.2 and 1,000th. And there we go. We take the W with kind of a hilarious strategy. Every single person in this race probably, except me, pitted. And I just didn't pit. I just put on hard tires and didn't pit. And we won. If you guys enjoyed that video, please subscribe and like it. Thanks for watching, and I'll be sure to make more Forza content in the future. I've been enjoying it quite a lot. So have a good one, guys.